welcome to another Chelsea chat. And today at Elland Road it was Leeds United 3, Chelsea 0. I thought about watching the game again and then doing this, but don't think there's a lot of point. I'm still going to be as angry. First of all, fair play to Leeds. They wanted that game. They wanted the ball more. They pressed relentlessly. They competed for every first and then every second ball. They played really, really well. Their manager's a bit of a knob. His over enthusiastic celebrations got on my wick. Probably got on Tuchel's. But he slagged our manager off before the game and then acts like that. But dirty Leeds, you expect that, I suppose. Where do I start? We actually started off quite brightly first 10 minutes. I did have concerns because Conor Gallagher, who I rate highly as a young man, who I think is going to be a great player for Chelsea, got knocked off the ball 3 times or got beaten to the ball 3 times very, very easily. And I'll tell you for why. It was his first game. He's hardly played in the Premiership this season. So as we all know, well, most of us know, there's going to be some out there who want him sold in the morning. But as you know, it takes time to get used to the pace of the Premiership. Well, any standard of football, really. If you've not been playing in it, it takes a while to get into it. Now, we were forced today into having Conor Gallagher and Jorginho in midfield, really, because Kante's injured and so's Kova. So, to a certain extent, we didn't have a lot of say. Well, Tuchel didn't have a lot of say. Could have stuck a couple of young lads in there. But as it transpires, in hindsight, which is a great thing, perhaps the young lad from Aston Villa and Conor Gallagher in there might have been better. You know, we could have done with a Billy Gilmore out there today to add a bit of bite, but also add a little bit of an offensive nous, because at least he's got more pace than Jorginho has, and Jorginho would just overrun today. And that's not slagging off Jorginho. You know my thoughts on him. I'm not his biggest fan by any means, but in the right day, when we're not under a really, really hard press like we were today, he can have the game of his life and really, really contribute, but not today. So we had a guy with no pace and Conor Gallagher probably trying a bit too hard. Does some good things, don't get me wrong, he done some good things, Conor, but I think the occasion got to him a bit. So we're under a bit of a perfect storm in that midfield before we even started. But we started off brightly enough. Sterling should have scored, did all the hard work, only had to put it in the net and put the ball wide, which could possibly have been 1-0. And a great save from the Leeds keeper from Mason Mount, touch just round the side, could have been 2-0. Then we had a disallowed goal, could have been 3-0. Cucurella had the goal. Well, he'd had no challenge coming in. Even had time, I think, to put a touch. But no, hit it first time. And for all his good attributes, he doesn't finish like Ben Chilwell does. So perhaps Tuchel's learnt something there. So that was us. So potentially being 3-0 up. They're pressing well. It's a difficult game. And all of a sudden, Edouard Mendy, who many of you we've discussed, I think he's a damn good goalkeeper, probably in the top 10 in the world as a shot stopper and certainly in the air. But unfortunately, this is the 5th time that he's done the same thing. What was it Einstein said? Definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. Well, that's the 5th time Mendy's done that. 3 of them have resulted in goals, directly or indirectly. And I'm not even going to include the genuine mistake that he made against Real Madrid. You know, the poor pass. But I think if I was Thomas Tuchel, I would be sticking. Well, if we've still got Kepa for the next game, maybe 2 games, because I still think Mendy's the best goalkeeper at the club by a country mile. I would put Kepa in goal, because when someone keeps doing something wrong and it keeps costing the team, now forget about all those great saves he makes. Forget about him keeping us in the game against Tottenham and loads of other games. He needs to learn. He needs to learn. So going 1-0 down against a team like that was right up for it, obviously playing for their knobhead manager and really going for it, we're really under pressure. Then, of course, a few minutes later, terrible marking from a free kick that wasn't actually a free kick. And Rodrigo gets up. He's been their big danger. So what do? You don't actually mark him. You appear to zonal mark, and then Reece James is way behind getting up with him. You know, I would think probably it would have been a Koulibaly man. Koulibaly, while I'm at it, I'll talk about him. He made 2 tactical fouls today. I've just been on social media and he's getting called a cart horse and a donkey and whatever. Well, obviously those fanatics haven't seen him play against Everton and Tottenham. Haven't watched him play for Napoli. He had a bad game at the office today, and I was shouting at the television for the second one. The first one, fair enough, they would have been in a decent offensive position, so I suppose that's the defender in him pulled the guy back. Second one, 85th minute, losing 3-0. What's the point of pulling a bloke back and getting a red card? It's different if it's 0-0 with 5 minutes to go. So I wasn't chuffed with Koulibaly today. Bad decisions. Thomas Tuchel. I've just seen. I can't even be bothered to interact with these Tuchel out brigade. I just can't. I really can't. As I say, I personally, and it's only a personal opinion which I'm entitled to, think he's the best thing to happen to Chelsea in ages. And like people are saying, he would have been gone under. He'd have been gone under Roman. Yeah, he would. I agree. It's a shame, isn't it? Because I remember Roman firing Ancelotti, which I thought was the last chance we had for any sort of stability at the club, any sort of long-term project. Now it looks from the signings as though Tuchel's going to be given the long term to operate. So we need to get behind him. But today he had an awful day at the office. I was shouting at the telly. If he stood in front of me right now, I'd just say, what happened? What happened? Because he's shown right away through managing teams, you know, in lower divisions, right away through to PSG and us, that 9 times out of 10 he gets it right tactically. But when he gets it wrong tactically, he gets it wrong big time. Today it looked like he'd done an anti-Joshua. He'd just lost it. Because taking off Gallagher and bringing on Pulisic, who don't even want to be at the club. Taking off Jorginho and bringing on Ziyech, who don't even want to be at the club. And you're under the cosh. Your midfield is struggling. So I would have thought, stick another midfielder in. Either go to a flat back 4 maybe bring on Chilwell and put Cucurella there in midfield, or Ruben Loftus-Cheek, just to give them an extra man there when they're under the cosh. You know, you could have put Cucurella in for Koulibaly, who was already on a yellow card and looked like he was going to get another red. Because the midfield in front of him were getting overrun, he was getting pulled forward, and for all his great attributes, and I think he's going to be one of the signings of the season, he's 31 years old. He's not going to be chasing around like a whippet, is he? So what went in to Tuchel's head when he made those two substitutions? I'd love him here to ask him, because I don't know. Because it looks like he said, well, we're under the cosh, you know what, let's just have all-out attack. And obviously that don't work. Chilwell on for Mount. Mount was finding it hard. He was getting frustrated. Chilwell should have been on a lot earlier, as I say. And Aspie for Raheem Sterling, the 87th minute. I don't even know what that was about. What the point was, but we're wasting time. 3-0 down. Sorry, folks, I can't be more positive, but excuse my language, it was a shit show. It was a shit show. Very disappointed in the team. The effort. You know, that's Sky Sports saying how they've run more yards than us. Our passing down at 82% when it's normally top 8, isn't it? Our passing accuracy sort of says it all, really. When I say you have got to give Leeds their credit, but we're better than that. We're way, way, way better than that. And after last week's performance, you know. Right, I'm going to go through the player scores. I'm not going to keep on mumbling the same old rubbish. I do apologise. I'm just stunned, shocked, angry, sad. Do I think we should get rid of Tuchel? No, I don't. I think he should be manager long term, and I honestly think this knee-jerk lot. Well, I'm not gonna slag them. They're entitled to their opinions, obviously. It's just a shame the way society is moving, I think. And yeah, right. Mendy gets a 3 from me. He done a couple of good things before that goal, before that cock up. But you know what? If you're gonna do stuff like that, you're gonna cost your team points. And he was the building block behind that defeat, I think. It's got to deflate everyone in front of you, particularly when you are under the cosh. So Mendy gets a 3 from me, and if it was down to me, he'd be dropped the next game as a punishment. Because it's not the first time he's done it. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I thought he was decent, actually. Again, didn't seem to have the players around him to help him out at times. So, particularly in that first half, a lot of running in straight into more Leeds players. But I'm going to give Ruben Loftus-Cheek 6.5. I thought he was one of our better players. And just inside him there was Reece James. Reece got beat to a header for that first goal. Out of position a few times. Unlucky not to score. Decent attempt that the goalkeeper saved. He gets a 6 from me. Wasn't one of our worst. Wasn't one of our best. Silva had a torrid afternoon. Nothing directly down to him, but because of the way the others were playing, out of position a lot. Couple of decent blocks. He gets a 6.5 from me. Koulibaly gets a 5. Not his best afternoon by any means. In fact, you know what? He gets a 4.5 for stupidity, because that last, it's cost us his services in another game, and there was no need for that second yellow card, you know, the red card. So 4.5. Cucurella 5.5. 2 possible chances that he rushed. His passing was decent. overrun a lot of the time. But I thought there was times when he could have run into space, or times when he could have got back, and he didn't. He gets a 5.5 from me. In midfield, Conor Gallagher gets a 5. I think the occasion got to him. He's been with the club since he was 6 years old, I was told, and I think the occasion got to him. Did some good stuff. Got easily pushed off the ball a couple of times and was caught in possession a couple of times. They were pressing well, but he's got to be better than that, and he is better than that. Bad day at the office, he's going to get a 5. Jorginho is going to get a 4. Very weak tackles put in, outpaced. Not the game for him. Probably wouldn't have been playing had Cover been fit or Kante been fit, but there you go. That's just the way of it. In front of them, I'm going to give Sterling a 6.5, the same as Ruben, and their joint man of the match, 6.5. Sterling should have scored, got to score goals like that. When you've done all the hard work, you've gone around 2 men and then you missed the goal completely. But 6.5, he worked hard, defensively put a shift in as well. Just not his day. Mason Mount gets a 5.5 from me. Tried hard, unlucky not to score. Not his best game, out of it, in and out of the game, and didn't impose himself on it like I would expect a player of his ability to. Yeah, just about another bad day at the office. Kai Havertz is going to get a 2 from me. I don't know what he did. I don't know what he actually did out there today. He ran around a lot, didn't touch the ball a lot. I just don't know what's wrong with him. I just don't know what's wrong with him. He gets a 2. There's not a lot I can say about his game because he didn't do anything. Didn't put a shift in defensively. Didn't look dangerous offensively. Didn't win much in the air. He gets a 2. He's really got to pull his socks up. Really got to pull his socks up. Because if we do buy a number 9, I don't know where he's gonna fit in. Because you got Sterling on one side and Mount the other. Where'd you play Havertz? I don't know. He's going to be challenging for those 2 spaces, isn't he? But the way he's playing at the moment, needs to do a lot more. I'm not going to score the subs, but when Pulisic and Ziyech came on, it might as well have brought me on. Me and me, equally fat twin brother. It might as well have brought us on. At least we would have run around with some sort of commitment. Shocking. Right, and Tommy Tuchel gets a 2 from me today. I thought, initially the setup looked alright, but as soon as he went a goal behind, he changed formation 5 times during that game that I could see, that I could notice, but nothing to change the pressure that we could put on them. And then when I think the second half, I think he had a brainstorm. As I say, I think it was like when I watched AJ last night, walk out that ring, abuse a few people, throw 6 belts out after, which I thought was funny, and then go back in and make this emotional statement. I just thought, you've lost it, pal. You're having some sort of breakdown. And I think for 65, 70 minutes today, old Tommy Tuchel done the same. But, as I say, I support the manager. I think anyone's entitled to a bad day at the office. He's had a few, particularly at the end of last season, and he's giving you know who, that section of fans that we've got, fanatics that we've got, plenty of artillery. But I'm not going to lose faith on a bad game today. But he has got to stop these bad days. If we're going to win the league, I never thought we would this season anyway, but I want to see an improvement, and days like today need to be cut out. He needs to get rid of these players that want to go. Do you know what? I know it's a business, and I know it's not my money, but if CH wants to go out to AC Milan and they're going to give us 10 million quid for him, let him go. Let him go. His wages are, what, 170 a week. Get them off the, you know. If Pulisic wants to get to Man United, let him go. Way he's playing at the minute, I'd like him in the United squad, because that weakens them. And let these players go. These fringe players. And I know, as I say, it's not my business, not my money, but I would seriously let them go, because they're a waste of space. I'd rather play some of these young lads from the development squad, and I know if they come in and have a bad game, the knee-jerkers are going to want them sold the next morning and say they're rubbish and should never wear a Chelsea shirt again. And I know Tuchel out, we want Pochettino. Do you know, I've seen Pochettino. Who else have I seen? Oh, the worst one I've seen is Allardyce. Get Allardyce in. I actually saw that on social media. Oh my God. Oh, dearie me. Some of these wouldn't have supported Chelsea back in the 70s and 80s, I'll tell you that. Anyway, it is what it is. Society's moved on. I'm sorry I couldn't be more upbeat today, folks. It was a shocker. An absolute shocker. I will be doing a quiz in the week, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, because you'll be eligible for the quiz then. Some nice prizes. Last month we had a Kerry Dixon book and a signed photograph, and when I'm doing the quiz vlog, I'll be showing the winner and what he did with it. It was nice to see. And this week we've got a signed Ron Harris picture, hand signed, with a certificate of authenticity, and also there's a book going as well. Okay, thanks for watching. Sorry it wasn't very upbeat. Onwards and upwards. Let's forget about today. Up to Chelsea.